The moment you hear these words, something inside you will shift, because God does not bring a message to a person unless He intends to move them into a new season. And right now, as you listen, God is positioning you for something extraordinary. Before the 4th of December, God says there are 5 divine movements, 5 shifts, 5 transformations that will unfold in your life. Not because you are lucky, not because the world favors you, but because God has decided it is time. When God decides a thing, no force on earth can delay it, no opposition can block it, and no darkness can bury it. I want you to understand the weight of what I am telling you. You are not listening to this message by coincidence. God brings certain messages only to those He has chosen to awaken. You have been praying, fighting, struggling, waiting, and wondering when change will finally touch your life. And God has seen every tear, every silent prayer, every moment where you stood strong when you could have lapsed. God observed your patience when others rushed ahead. He saw your quiet strength when nobody else appreciated it. And He watched your heart remain faithful even when your circumstances tried to break you. That is why this message has reached you, because God's timing for you has arrived. There are moments in life where God marks a person, taps them on the shoulder of their spirit and whispers, "Now, before 4 December, you will witness God turning the page of your life." Every delay, every obstacle, every confusion, every disappointment, God is about to prove to you why He allowed it. God never wastes seasons. He never wastes pain. He never wastes waiting. When God delays something, it is because He is preparing something greater than you asked for. And now the preparation is complete. As you hear this, I want you to open the deepest place of your heart, because what I am about to speak will not just touch your ears, it will touch your destiny. This is not motivation. This is not inspire. This is a divine announcement. Your life is about to change because God has declared movement where you only saw stillness. God has declared increase where you saw emptiness. God has declared clarity where you saw confusion. God has declared breakthrough where you saw impossibility. There are 5 things, 5 divine interventions that God says will happen before the 4th of December. And every one of them carries the power to shift your direction, elevate your path, and break the limitations that have been holding you back. Before the 4th of December, God is going to lift the heaviness that has been sitting on your spirit. You know that weight, the one you cannot explain to anyone, the one you carry, even when you smile, the one you push through, even when you pretend you're fine. You have tried to stay strong, but the burden has been heavy. God says that heaviness is being removed because the season it belonged to has ended. You're stepping into a lighter state of being, a clear, fresh state of mind, and a stronger state of faith. What once drained you will no longer control you. Before the 4th of December, God is going to expose truth. Truth about the people around you. Truth about the opportunities in front of you. Truth about the path you should take. You have been walking through uncertainty, not knowing who to trust, where to invest your energy, or which direction leads to your future. God is going to separate the real from the false, the sincere from the manipulative, the path that grows you from the path that traps you. When God reveals truth, confusion collapses instantly. You will not guess anymore. You will know. Before the 4th of December, God is going to release something you have been praying for a long time. You may think it is too big, too late, or too complicated, but God does not consider difficulty when He decides to bless someone. You are about to witness the manifestation of a prayer you thought God had forgotten. But God never forgets what you ask from a sincere heart. God only waits for the perfect moment. That moment is approaching you quicker than you expect. Before the 4th of December, God is going to reorder something in your life. Something out of alignment will be corrected. Something broken will be restored. Something stuck will begin to move. You have been trying to fix it by your own strength, but nothing changed because God reserved that restoration for Himself. When God steps in, What seems impossible becomes simple. You don't need to understand how. God is not limited by logic, time, or circumstances. He restores in ways that leave you speechless. Before the 4th of December, God is going to open a path that will define your next chapter. A door you have been waiting for, a direction you have been searching for, an opportunity you have been hoping for. God is preparing it right now. You may not see it yet, but God often works silently before He works visibly. Suddenly, without warning, the path will appear. And you will know it came from God because everything about it will carry peace, clarity, and certainty. These 5 divine movements are not predictions. They are declarations. And when God declares a thing, it becomes reality. When God sends a message ahead of a blessing, it means the blessing is already on its way. You are not being encouraged. You are being awakened to what God has already decided. But you must understand something important. God does not move powerfully in the life of someone who doubts their calling. You must believe that you were chosen for this moment. You must believe that God has seen your struggles and He has decided your reward. You must believe that what is coming is greater than what has been lost. God is not sending you into the end of this year empty-handed. He is sending you into it empowered. For too long, you have carried fears that were never yours to carry. Worries about your worth, your future, your stability, your purpose. You have been standing in a battlefield that was meant to strengthen you, not destroy you. And although the struggle was long, God says the battle is shifting. You have survived the season that was meant to break you. And now you are entering this season that will build you before 4 December. God is going to let you see why He allowed the challenges you face. Some people walked away from you and it hurt deeply. But God removed them because He heard conversations you didn't hear. He saw intentions you didn't see. And He protected you from futures that would have damaged you. Not everything you lost was a loss. Some losses were hidden blessings. Some rejections were divine redirections. Some delays were divine protections. And now God is going to show you how every piece fits together. You are stepping into a season where the meaning behind your struggles becomes clear. The confusion will fade. The pain will heal. And what once made you question your path will now confirm that God was guiding you all along. You have. You've been in the shadows long enough. You've been overlooked long enough. You've been misunderstood long enough. God says your visibility is coming. God says your moment is approaching. God says the light is shifting toward you. Before the 4th of December, the world around you will begin to sense the elevation God is placing upon your life. You are entering a season of divine acceleration. God can do in 1 week what you could not do in 5 years. That is why He told you to listen. That is why He drew you to this message. Your spirit is being prepared for rapid change. Transformation so fast your mind would take time to catch up with what God is doing. You have no idea how close you are to the breakthrough that will rewrite your life story. You have no idea how near you are to the moment where everything shifts. God has been silent, but silence is not absence. Silence is preparation. Silence is alignment. Silence is a sign that God is placing final touches on something extraordinary. Your name is being spoken in rooms you haven't entered yet. Your future has been shaped by divine hands. God is pushing you forward even when you feel like nothing is moving. Sometimes God works behind the wall before He opens the door. Sometimes God prepares the blessing before He positions the person. As you move forward in this moment, I want you to recognize something essential. God is shifting the spiritual atmosphere around your life. You may think nothing has changed because your surroundings look the same, but the unseen world has already begun to respond to God's command. When God speaks, every barrier that once resisted you begins to weaken. Every delay that once held you back begins to collapse. Every force that once clouded your path begins to disperse. God has initiated something in your favor. And what God begins, nothing can stop. Many people around you underestimate the weight of your destiny because they cannot see what God placed within you. They look at your past, not our. Realizing God has written a future that surpasses anything your history could predict. They judge your struggles without understanding the strength God has been building in silence. They assume your quietness means weakness, but God knows your quietness was obedience, your patience was discipline, and your humility was preparation. God does not elevate the proud. God elevates those who endure hardship with dignity, who remain faithful in the darkness, who continue walking even when the road feels endless. Before the 4th of December, God is not only bringing change, He is bringing clarification. You will begin to understand why certain seasons were longer than you expected, why certain relationships ended before you felt ready, why certain opportunities disappeared just when you thought everything was falling into place. God was not punishing you. God was protecting you. God was shielding you from paths that would have drained your spirit, from alliances that would have misled your purpose, and from opportunities that were too small for the greatness He is preparing in you. Some of the greatest gifts God gives are the things He does not allow you to have. You may not have understood it then, but you will understand it now. God is about to reveal the wisdom behind His timing and the perfection behind His decisions. What once felt like loss will now feel like rescue. What once felt like delay will now feel like alignment. What once felt like disappointment will now feel like direction. God is preparing a new level of clarity in your mind. Your thoughts will sharpen. Your decisions will strengthen. Your inner voice will become more confident. You will no longer second-guess yourself the way you once did, because God is giving you the ability to hear Him with greater sensitivity. Confusion cannot survive when God illuminates a spirit. Doubt cannot remain when God strengthens a heart. Fear collapses the moment God breathes courage into a person's soul. That is the transformer approaching you. God is positioning you to receive what you were not ready for in previous seasons. There were times you prayed for blessings that would have overwhelmed you. You asked for opportunities your character had not yet developed enough to sustain. You desired elevation before understanding the discipline required to stay elevated. God does not deny your requests. He prepares you for them. And now the preparation is complete. You are stepping into a level of maturity, strength, and internal stability that will anchor you in blessings that once frightened you. God is giving you the capacity to carry more, to handle more, to become more. The person you are becoming is stronger than the person you were. Not because life made you tough, but because God made you resilient. Every hardship was molding you into someone capable of holding divine responsibility without collapsing under its weight. Before 4 December, God is going to remove the last traces of insecurity that once limited your faith. The doubts you carried, the internal battles you fought alone, the fear that whispered to you in quiet moments, God is uprooting them. You will rise with a confidence rooted not in ego but in faith. When your confidence comes from God, no failure can shake it, no criticism can diminish it, and no adversity can break it. You are becoming unshakable. There is a reason God is accelerating things for you now. Your spirit has reached a maturity it did not have before. You have outgrown certain mentalities, certain habits, certain patterns, and even certain people. Growth is not always visible to others, but it is always recognized by God. People may judge your past, but God rewards your progress. People may misunderstand your silence, but God hears every prayer you whisper. People may overlook your efforts, but God counts every step you take in faith. You are walking into a season where God will start sending the right people into your life. Individuals who bring peace instead of chaos, support instead of jealousy, honesty instead of manipulation. God is clearing the circle around you Because the next stage of your journey requires people who can stand with you, not drain you. You will begin to sense who belongs and who no longer fits your path. This awareness is not your imagination. It is God sharpening your discernment. When God elevates you, He refines your environment. Before the 4th of December, God is also preparing a shift in the opportunities available to you. You will begin to see doors open that you once believed were impossible. Conversations will emerge out of nowhere. Ideas will flow effortlessly. Resources will appear unexpectedly. These are not coincidences, they are confirmations. When God favors someone, the world is compelled to respond. Even the people who once ignored you will sense a difference in you. Because when God places His hand on a person, the evidence becomes undeniable. Do not be surprised when you start feeling a sense of urgency to pursue your purpose. That urgency is God pushing you. The inner stirring you feel is not anxiety, it is divine momentum. You are being moved out of stagnation, out of hesitation, out of fear. God is awakening parts of you that have been dormant for too long. You are becoming more focused, more determined, more spiritually aware. This awakening is necessary for what God is bringing into your life. You have spent years carrying a quiet strength that nobody fully understood. People saw your smile, but they did not see the battles behind it. They saw your calmness, but not the storms you survived. They saw your patience, but not the moments you wanted to give up, yet chose faith instead. And because God saw all of it, He has decided to honor your endurance. God is a rewarder of persistence. God is a rewarder of sincerity. God is a rewarder of faith that remains steady even when nothing changes. And your faith did not collapse. It trembled, but it did not break. It wretched, but it did not snap. You questioned, but you did not quit. And for that, God has declared that this is your time. Before the 4th of December, you will begin to feel a stronger connection with God, a deeper sense of reassurance, a quieter mind, a more peaceful spirit. The spiritual noise around you will calm. The internal storms will settle. God is not only bringing blessings into your life, He is bringing stillness into your soul. Inner peace is one of the greatest signs that God is preparing a breakthrough. When the noise quiets, the blessing approaches. There is a moment in every person's life when God pulls them out of the shadows and places them in the light of their true purpose. Most people think this shift happens suddenly, but it does not. It happens after years of unseen struggle, uncelebrated effort, and silent endurance. And you stand right now at the threshold of that shift. What God is preparing for you before the 4th of December will not be something you chase. It will be something that meets you. You will not stumble into it. God will position you for it. You will not beg for it. God will deliver it. God is orchestrating a rise in your life that even you may not fully comprehend yet. There are times when God hides a person not because they are unworthy, but because their value is too great to be placed prematurely before the world. You have been hidden, not forgotten. You have been held back, not rejected. You have been slowed down, not denied. God does not reveal diamonds before they are shaped, and He does not release leaders before they are proven. The weight you carried was not a sign of God's silence. It was a sign of God's investment in you. Before the 4th of December, God is preparing a moment of recognition, not from the world, but from your own soul. You will finally see yourself the way God sees you, capable, strong, chosen, worthy of elevation. The doubts that clouded your identity will fall away. You will wake up one morning and feel something different. An inner strength that does not come from human encouragement, but from divine awareness. You will realize that God has placed something inside you that no amount of failure, rejection, or disappointment could destroy. There is a reason your spirit has been restless. Your restlessness is not a flaw, it is a sign. When the season you are in becomes too small for your purpose, God creates a spiritual discomfort to push you out of what is familiar. That inner stirring is God calling you higher. You cannot stay where you have been because the place you are standing on cannot hold the next version of you. You are expanding internally before your blessings expand externally. You may not realize it, but God has been clearing your path for months. You thought people were leaving you, but God was removing anything that could interfere with your elevation. You thought opportunities were slipping away, but God was closing doors that would have trapped you in mediocrity. Thought you were losing time, but God was aligning your steps with perfect timing. Nothing was random. Nothing was wasted. Everything was divine arrangement. Before the 4th of December, God will reveal to you how perfectly He has been guiding your steps. You will look back at the disappointments you survived, and instead of pain, you will feel gratitude. You will look back at the waiting seasons, and instead of frustration, you will see wisdom. You will look back at the prayers you thought were ignored, and you will understand they were answered in ways you could not see before. God is preparing your spirit to handle blessings that once intimidated you. There were seasons you prayed for doors to open, but the fear of responsibility kept you from walking through them. Now God has strengthened your heart. Now your mind is anchored. Now your faith is sharper. When God elevates you this time, you will not shrink. You will not question. You will not hesitate. You will walk with certainty. Because you will know that God Himself is carrying you. You are approaching a moment where God will not only change your circumstances, He will change your expectations. You will stop asking for small blessings because you will finally understand that God is not limited. You have been conditioned by past experiences to expect little, but God is breaking that mindset. You are entering a season where you will ask boldly, believe strongly, and receive abundantly. This is not because of who you are, but because of who God is. Before the 4th of December, something in your spiritual awareness will shift. You will begin to hear God more clearly, not with your ears, but with your heart. The confusion that once clouded your decisions will begin to dissolve. You will find yourself making choices with wisdom beyond your years. You will respond to situations with calmness that surprises even you. You will know when to walk away and when to stand firm. You will know when to move and when to wait. His new clarity is not self-help. This is divine alignment. God is preparing to restore things you thought were permanently lost. There are dreams you buried because life convinced you they were unrealistic. There are desires you suppressed because disappointment made you believe they were out of reach. There are plans you abandoned because you did not see a way forward, but God is about to resurrect what you thought was dead. Nothing God plants in your heart is accidental. If the desire remained, the fulfillment is coming. There is an important truth you must understand. God never gives a dream without preparing a path. If the dream lived in you, it is because the destiny that matches it is waiting for you. Your task was to grow into the person who could walk that path. And now you have grown. Now you are ready. Now God is opening the way. Before the 4th of December, you will sense a wave of courage rising in you. The fears that once paralyzed you will begin to lose their grip. You will feel an unusual boldness, a readiness to step into opportunities you once avoided. This courage is God-given. It is not momentary confidence. It is spiritual empowerment. When God strengthens a heart, no fear can take root again. You are entering a season where God is going to bring justice to areas where you were wronged. What was taken from you will be returned in ways greater than the loss. What was denied will be replaced with something better. What was delayed will arrive multiplied. God is not only bringing blessings, He is bringing divine correction. Every unfair moment, every betrayal, every setback, God has counted all of it and He has stored redemption for you. Do not be surprised when unexpected breakthroughs begin to appear. God works in patterns that defy logic. One moment everything looks ordinary. The next moment everything transforms. You may wake up one morning to the same world, but by evening your life may carry a different direction. That is how quickly God moves. When the appointed time arrives, and for you, That appointed time is approaching rapidly. Spirit has already sensed that something is coming. You can feel the shift even if you cannot explain it. Your intuition has been alert. Your heart has been attentive. This awareness is not your imagination, it is your spirit recognizing divine movement. When God sends a blessing, your spirit detects it before your life displays it. That is what you are feeling now. You are on the edge of something significant. And what God brings before the 4th of December will not be temporary. It will not fade. It will not crumble. It will not collapse under pressure. God does not give fragile blessings. What He gives is strong, stable, deeply rooted, and perfectly timed. And now, as you stand in this moment, I want you to breathe deeply and recognize the truth rising within you. You are not here by coincidence, and you are not hearing these words by accident. God has been guiding your steps long before you understood the journey. God has been preparing your spirit long before you recognize the calling. Everything you have survived, everything you have endured, everything you have questioned, God was shaping it into strength. You were not meant to drift through life in confusion or defeat. You were meant to rise with purpose, clarity, and spiritual conviction. This is the moment where you deceive the life. This is the moment where you choose whether you will continue carrying old fears into new seasons or release them into the hands of God. This is the moment where you examine your heart and ask yourself whether you have been living by faith or by fear, by trust or by hesitation, by divine guidance or by the noise of the world. God is calling you to rise higher, not later, not eventually, but now. You cannot wait for perfect conditions. You cannot wait for complete understanding. You cannot wait for life to become easy. Faith is not built in comfort, it is built in courage. Look at the path behind you. You have survived storms that would have broken others. You have risen from losses that were meant to bury you. You have carried responsibilities that felt impossible. And still you stand, not by luck, not by chance, but by the steady hand of God. And if God kept you through the valleys, then God will surely carry you into the mountains. If God sustained you in weakness, then God will surely empower you in strength. You are not entering your next season empty. You are entering it fortified by every trial you conquer. But you must choose. You must choose to walk with intention, not passivity. You must choose to silence the voices that weaken your spirit and strengthen the voice that draws you closer to God. You must choose to transform your habits, your thoughts, your priorities. You must choose to let go of bitterness, resentment, and memories that cage your progress. You cannot walk into the future God has prepared while holding on to the weight He has commanded you to release. So challenge yourself today. Open the door of your heart fully to God. Allow Him to illuminate what you need to change, what you need to pursue, what you need to release, and what you need to become. Stand before God with honesty. No excuses, no pretending, no hiding. Ask Him to refine your character, strengthen your will, deepen your faith, and sharpen your purpose. God responds to sincerity. God responds to humility. God responds to the soul that is ready to be transformed. Let this be the moment you step out of old versions of yourself. Let this be the moment you refuse to live small. Let this be the moment you break the patterns that have kept you spiritually tired and emotionally stuck. Let this be the moment you lift your eyes, renew your spirit, and commit yourself to a life that honors the purpose God placed within you. Your life has meaning. Your existence carries weight. Your spirit holds power. And God is ready to walk with you into a chapter where your faith becomes your force, your discipline becomes your strength, and your closeness to God becomes your protection. Now rise. Rise with conviction. Rise with courage. Rise with the unshakable assurance that God goes before you, God stands beside you, and God strengthens what lies within you. Walk with your head lifted, your heart steady, and your spirit awakened. And let every step you take from this moment onward declare one truth. You are ready for the life God has prepared, and nothing will stop you from becoming who you were destined to. When I tell you that God is about to reload your bank account, I do not speak as someone offering empty encouragement. I speak as someone declaring a spiritual reality that is already in motion. Listen carefully, because this moment is not ordinary. This moment is divine. This moment has been orchestrated by God long before you even felt the pressure, long before you felt the lack, long before you stared at the balance in your account and wondered how you would survive the next month. God saw it. God heard every private prayer. God measured every silent tear. And now God is preparing to shift you into a realm of provision that your mind cannot fully grasp. Today you may think this is just another message, but I assure you it is your personal prophetic announcement. Something invisible is moving in your favor, and your life is about to witness a financial transformation that will silence every fear that ever tried to intimidate you. There are moments in life when God steps into your story with such force that everything resisting you trembles. This is one of those moments. You have been carrying burdens that were too heavy for one person to bear. Yet God kept you standing. You survived days when your heart felt crushed and nights when your thoughts consumed you. You survived anxiety, scarcity, disappointments, delays, and people who never believed in you. And because you endured, God is preparing a release that will shock even you. God is about to write a chapter in your life that will prove you were never forgotten. You were never abandoned. You were never disqualified. God simply hid you until the time was right to reveal what has been prepared for you. Some of you have been living with the weight of financial pressure for so long that it feels normal. You've normalized the struggle, normalized stretching every currency note, normalized checking your account twice, hoping it magically increase, normalized silence when your heart wanted to scream. But hear me, carrying the weight of financial hardship was never meant to define your identity. It was meant to define your dependence on God. It was meant to shape your character, sharpen your faith, and stretch your trust. You have been trained in the fire so you can handle the blessing when it arrives. God does not give big blessings to unprepared hands. God strengthens the vessel before releasing abundance. And now you have reached the moment where your capacity has outgrown your circumstance. That means blessing is near. When God says your bank account will be reloaded, it does not mean a simple increase. It means a divine reset. It means God is restoring what was lost, replacing what was stolen, and multiplying what was delayed. Some of you lost money in ways you still do not understand. Opportunities slipped away. Investments collapsed. People who promised support never delivered. Unexpected bills consumed your savings. Plans you thought would lift you financially were interrupted before they even began. Yet none of it was wasted. God took inventory of every financial wound, and every loss has been recorded in the ledger of heaven. Nothing skipped God's attention. Nothing will go uncompensated. When God reloads, it comes with interest from the unseen realm. It comes with restoration attached. It comes with a spiritual compensation package that no earthly system can deny you. You may look at your life and think God has been silent regarding your finances. But silence from God is not absence from God. Silence is strategy. Silence means preparation. Silence means God is lining things up behind the scenes, adjusting details, shifting environments, and setting divine appointments. God's silence is never empty. It is full of motion. It is full of intention. God has been preparing a blessing that aligns perfectly with your purpose, your timing, and your future. And when the timing of God meets the readiness of your spirit, a financial breakthrough becomes inevitable. Nothing can stop it. No enemy can block it. No circumstance can delay it. When God releases, it arrives with unstoppable force. You have to understand that God does not bless randomly. God blesses strategically. There is a pattern to divine provision. And part of that pattern involves pressure. You felt pressure not because you were forsaken, but because you were being positioned. Pressure creates clarity. Pressure reveals what you truly trust. Pressure removes what is not meant to go with you into the next season. Pressure forces your spirit to lean on God more than your understanding. Some of the greatest financial blessings God releases come after the most difficult seasons of financial testing. The test was developing the discipline required for the blessing. The storm was shaping the mindset required for your next level. And the scarcity was training your spirit to rely on God alone. Now that the training has done its work, God is about to respond with abundance. Many people think abundance begins with money. Abundance begins in the spirit. Before God fills your account, God fills your faith. Before God multiplies your income, God multiplies your expectation. Before God releases external provision, God strengthens your internal capacity to receive. You are stepping into a moment where your spirit is aligning with your blessing. Your faith has been stretched. Your endurance has been built. Your perseverance has been tested. You have prayed, waited, survived, and grown. You have outlasted situations designed to break you. Now you are spiritually positioned to receive what you could not have handled before. God does not release abundance to fragile faith. God releases abundance to believers who have been fortified through fire. Some of you are not even aware of the doors God is about to open for you. Because when God reactivates financial flow, it rarely comes from only one source. God opens unexpected channels. God orchestrates divine connections. God brings opportunities you did not apply for, ideas you did not plan, favor you did not anticipate. God bypasses human systems and introduces you to spiritual supply lines that produce results no economy can block. You may think money only comes through your job, your business, your skill, or your network, but when God steps in, limitations break. God is not restricted to earthly pathways. God can bring increase from places you never considered. God can use one idea to fund your entire future. God can use one connection to shift your whole financial reality. God can use one moment to reverse years of struggle. You must prepare yourself mentally and spiritually for the shift that is coming. Because when God reloads your bank account, it won't just be for your comfort. It will be for your calling. God blesses with purpose. God does not empower you financially just to elevate your lifestyle. God empowers you to elevate your destiny. The resources coming to you are connected to your assignment. You will have the means to do what God placed in your heart long ago. Dreams you paused will come alive again. Plans you delayed will gain momentum. Responsibilities you couldn't fulfill before will now be handled with ease because God is equipping you for the next dimension of your life. Many of you have vision that exceeds your provision. And that imbalance has frustrated you. You see big, you think big, you dream big, yet your bank account has not reflected the magnitude of what God placed in your spirit. But understand this, God always gives vision before provision. God plants desire before delivering the resources. The dream is the sign that the blessing is coming. Your spirit saw the future before your finances caught up. And now your finances are about to align with what God already showed your heart. The resources will match the revelation. The supply will match the assignment. The provision will match the purpose. You must not allow your current balance to dictate your future expectation. Your account today, it's not your account tomorrow. Your situation today is not your situation next month. God can transform a financial landscape in ways that defy logic and reasoning. You have seen people rise financially overnight, not because of luck, but because of divine orchestration. What God did for others is evidence of what God can do for you. You are not exempt from the blessing. You are not excluded from abundance. You are not outside the reach of divine provision. God's hand is not limited. and God's resources are not scarce. God owns what you need and more. And when God decides it is time, the release is undeniable. There is a spiritual principle you must hold on to with everything in you. God does not leave a faithful person empty-handed forever. When a person has walked through deserts, God brings them to rivers. When a person has endured drought, God brings them rain. When a person has remained steadfast in times of scarcity, God rewards them with overflowing provision. You have been faithful. You have kept going even when it made no sense. You trusted God with nothing in your hand. And now God is about to trust you with something in your hand. God honors persistence. God rewards endurance. God responds to unwavering faith. You did not give up. That alone qualifies you for a blessing. And now, as God prepares to reload your bank account, something greater is happening within you. Your mindset is transforming. Your confidence is strengthening. Your faith is maturing. You are beginning to understand that provision is not the result of human effort. It is the result of divine alignment. When your spirit aligns with God's timing, breakthroughs unfold naturally. You do not have to chase what God has already assigned to you. You do not have to beg for what God already promised. You do not have to force what God has already prepared. You only have to position yourself to receive. And the blessing comes toward you with its own momentum. This is why you must stay in expectation. Expectation is a spiritual magnet. When you expect increase, you attract increase. When you expect opportunity, you recognize opportunity. When you expect financial elevation, your actions, decisions, mindset, and atmosphere shift to match what God is preparing. Expectation activates the flow of provision. It opens the door for God to move in ways you have never seen before. Step into this next season with bold expectation, and you will witness the financial expansion God has ordained for you. And now open your spirit in faith, because your financial story is about to change with the power of God guiding every step. And when I tell you that God is about to reload your bank account, I am not speaking about a temporary uplift or a momentary financial spark. I am speaking about a sustained flow, an ongoing divine current where God turns what was once dry land into fertile ground and what was once emptiness into overflowing abundance. There are seasons when God does not just add to your life. God restructures it. God does not simply upgrade your finances. God elevates your entire identity, your confidence, your vision, and your capacity to receive. And I need you to understand this. Before God releases abundance around you, God releases abundance within you. You are becoming the vessel that can hold more. You are becoming the person who can manage more. You are becoming the steward who can multiply what is placed in your hands. God's financial blessing begins in your spirit long before it reaches your account. Right now, God is reshaping the way you think about resources. God is removing the fear that made you shrink, the doubt that made you hesitate, the hesitation that made you miss opportunities, and the insecurity that made you question your worthiness to receive. You were never meant to live with a mindset of scarcity. Scarcity does not come from God. Scarcity comes from wounds, experiences, disappointments, and moments where life made you feel like you had to fight Jew to survive. But God is replacing that psychology with a mindset of faith. God is rewiring your thinking to understand that provision is not earned through fear. It is received through trust. God is not limited by the same boundaries that limit people. God is not contained by the economic systems that contain the world. God is not restricted by the seasons that restrict the environment. God can create abundance in the darkest moments, in the lowest places, in the most unexpected circumstances. You may not realize this, but everything you have walked through financially has been part of a training process. God was teaching you not to rely on temporary supply, but on eternal source. People can support you today and disappear tomorrow. Income can rise one season and fall in another. Opportunities can come with excitement and fade without warning. But God remains. God stays. God sustains. When you anchor your trust in God, you do not crumble when conditions shift. You do not break when circumstances tighten. You do not panic when numbers dip. You stand firm because you know that God is not governed by numbers. God is governed by promise. And a promise from God is stronger than any bank account, any financial report, any economic forecast, and any projection spoken over your life. Some of you have been living in survival mode for so long that you forgot what it feels like to breathe freely. You forgot what it feels like to rest without worrying about what tomorrow will demand. You forgot what it feels like to imagine a future that is not defined by limitation. You forgot what it feels like to dream without calculating if you can afford it. But let me tell you, God is about to restore that freedom. God is about to give you financial space. God is about to give you room to breathe again. God is about to give you margin, capacity, and overflow. When God reloads your bank account, God does not restore you to where you used to be. God moves you into a higher level that refill. It's your endurance, your faith, and your growth. And understand this deeply. When God decides to elevate your finances, the purpose is larger than comfort. God's provision comes with intention. God blesses you because there are things God wants to accomplish through you. You are not being lifted just so you can enjoy comfort. You are being lifted so you can fulfill a divine assignment. There are places you are meant to go, responsibilities you are meant to carry, people you are meant to support, visions you are meant to fund, and missions you are meant to bring to life. Money in your life is not just a tool for survival. It is a tool for destiny. It is a tool for expansion. It is a tool for impact. It is a tool for influence. God is not blessing you randomly. God is blessing you purposefully. There is a transformation happening inside you that you may not fully perceive yet. God is strengthening your spirit so that when the financial blessing arrives, you won't collapse under its weight. Many people pray for increase, but lack the character to manage it. They desire promotion, but do not have the discipline to sustain it. They ask for abundance, yet their mindset cannot handle the responsibility that abundance requires. But you have been through refining. You have been through stretching. You have been through seasons where you learned to be faithful with little. And because of that, you are being entrusted with more. God saw the quiet moments when you chose integrity over convenience. God saw the days when you gave generously, even when you barely had enough for yourself. God saw how you stayed humble when life tempted you to become bitter. And God is now responding to that silent obedience. Many people don't realize this, but obedience is currency in the spiritual realm. Faith is currency. Patience is currency. Sacrifice is currency. Endurance is currency. These invisible currencies pull divine provision toward you. You may think you don't deserve a financial breakthrough because you look at your career, your skills, or your past decisions. But God does not evaluate your future based on your failures. God evaluates your future based on your heart, and your heart has remained sincere even in scarcity. Your heart has remained trusting even in uncertainty. Your heart has remained open even when your circumstances tried to shut it down. That is why God is preparing to elevate you financially. Not because you earned it with perfection, but because you honored God with sincerity. When God reintroduces abundance into your life, it will not come with confusion. It will come with clarity. It will come with peace. It will come with discernment. You will know exactly where to direct it, exactly where to sow it, exactly where to invest it, exactly where to avoid placing it. God is not simply sending money. God is sending wisdom alongside the money. God is sending clarity alongside the open doors. God is sending discernment alongside the opportunities. Wow. good is financial overflow without the wisdom to manage it? What good is abundance without direction? What good is increase without understanding? That is why God prepares your spirit before God prepares your accounts. You may begin to notice that certain ideas start rising in your mind in the coming days. These are not random thoughts. They are spiritual signals. God is planting ideas that will produce increase. God is awakening creativity you did not know was inside you. God is reminding you of dreams you buried because you thought you could no longer afford them. God is stirring new pathways, new collaborations, new strategies, new insights. Pay attention. When God prepares to shift your financial reality, one of the first signs is spiritual ideas. Ideas that feel too big for your current income but perfectly aligned with your future abundance. Ideas that make your heart race. Ideas that feel like destiny knocking on your door. And hear this. When God releases financial blessing, it will not require you to compromise who you are. You will not have to beg. You will not have to manipulate. You will not have to betray your principles. You will not have to sacrifice your integrity. You will not have to dilute your values. The opportunity that comes from God will come with peace. It will come with alignment. It will come with favor that feels effortless because God is the one pushing it into your life. What is from God comes with rest, not chaos. And the financial increase that God is preparing for you will be marked by a sense of divine ease. Not laziness, but alignment. Where your effort meets God's orchestration. Success becomes unavoidable. You are stepping into a season where what used to be difficult will become manageable, and what used to be impossible will become achievable. You will look back at your earlier struggles and realize they were necessary chapters in your story. You needed those chapters to develop strength. You needed those chapters to develop humility. You needed those chapters to learn how to rely on God rather than relying on circumstance. Every delay trained your focus. Every setback sharpened your discernment. Every trial taught you the resilience you will need when abundance arrives. God was not punishing you. God was preparing you. And hear me clearly, your time of preparation is coming to an end. And your time of manifestation is beginning. God is not waiting anymore. God is moving. God is opening the windows of abundance. God is loosening what was tied up. God is multiplying what was stagnant. God is activating what was dormant. God is rebalancing what was uneven. God is lifting what was heavy. God is bringing breakthroughs that will feel sudden, but in reality they were slow built through every moment of your faithfulness. You are about to experience a divine turnaround. Not a small comfort, not a temporary relief. A full-scale spiritual turnaround that transforms your financial reality from dryness to overflow. And it happens. You will know with absolute certainty that it was God, because it will surpass anything you could have produced through your own limited strength. It will be bigger, deeper, wider, and more strategic than anything you could have planned. And there will come a moment very soon when you will look back on this exact season of your life and realize that everything God withheld, everything God delayed, everything God rearranged was preparing the foundation for a greater financial structure than you were ready to build before. When God blesses, God does not bless in fragments. God blesses in fullness. God ensures the ground is strong enough to hold the weight of what is coming. You may have questioned why certain opportunities collapsed, why certain connections drifted away, why certain plans didn't unfold the way you expected. But now, you will begin to understand, God was not closing doors to limit you. God was closing doors to protect you from entering rooms where your spirit, your finances, and your peace would have been compromised. God was redirecting you toward a more stable, more fruitful, more divinely aligned path. There is something sacred about endurance. When a person endures financial hardship, their spirit learns how to rise beyond numbers. Their identity detaches from their circumstances. They discover a part of themselves that cannot be shaken by lack. They learn how to depend on God in a way that becomes unbreakable. This is why you cannot minimize your journey. You cannot dismiss the nights you pray.